Hey everybody, welcome back for part 4 of creating pagan bylaws. Today we're going to talk about codes of conduct, but I also wanted to discuss something else that somebody had put in the comment section of one of my videos. They said that pagan bylaws aren't really necessary, that all you need is an About Us section on your website. And that might be the case if you don't really care about legitimacy, but the reason why I suggest that you create bylaws for your pagan organization is for one of several reasons. A, people who come to your website or come to your group want to know what your group is about, and the bylaws are a great way to organize the thoughts about what your group is about. Secondly, they make you seem legitimate to other organizations that you might work with. When you're collaborating, for example, with other pagan organizations, or if you're a charity group trying to get into a church cooperative so you can do charity with them, they're going to want to know what your bylaws are and how you operate. The bylaws state, essentially, how you operate your pagan organization or pagan business. Because even a pagan religious organization, you should run it somewhat like a business. You know, you're going to have money coming in, money going out, and members that you expect to act a certain way, and a community that you serve. So you're going to need to outline all that stuff. And the bylaws are a more organized format of how to do that. Thirdly, you would want to also have pagan bylaws because some of the organizations that you're going to want to incorporate with, so in other words, the state that you incorporate with, sometimes the city that you incorporate with, and so forth and so on, those organizations often ask you for a set of bylaws. I know in the city of Freeport, where we used to live, they wanted to see bylaws, and there's other probably municipalities that are going to want to know if you have bylaws so that they can recognize you as a legal church or a legal organization within their city. So it's really important, if you want legitimacy as an organization, to have a set of bylaws. The next section on your pagan bylaws should be the codes of conduct. The reason why the codes of conduct is so important is because it's kind of an agreement between you, the leaders of your group, and the members as to how to behave within a group setting. The way my philosophy on it is that everybody who's a member of your group should have read your bylaws and agreed to the codes of conduct therein. And that way you know that everybody's on the same page and they know what's expected of them when it comes to their behavior. And of course then, you know, if somebody breaks a code of conduct, you can address that as a group because you know that they've already been educated as to how they're expected to behave. So codes of conduct, they don't have to be extremely long, but I'm going to go through some with you so that you understand what I mean. So to give you an idea of how to structure the codes of conduct on your bylaws, I thought that I would go through the ones that we have on our temple bylaws so that you can see how we structured them. You don't have to model them exactly like we did. You know, your group values might be a little bit different than our group values, but it'll give you an idea of how to structure them. So on our codes of conduct, we have several sections that outline how it is that people are expected to behave. The first one is inclusion, and the reason we have an inclusion section is because we wanted to make sure that we thought of all of our members as equal in our community. There's only 3 kind of subsections to the inclusion section on our codes of conduct, and that is that temple members should work to make members and like-minded people feel included in part of the community. We're a group that welcomes everybody regardless of what faction of Hellenism you come from, whether you're a Hellenic Wiccan or Hellenic Druid. If you worship the Greek gods in some shape or form, you are welcome within the temple of the Greek gods, and nobody is considered to be better than anybody else. So we wanted to make sure that people who are part of our temple were also working to create a welcoming environment within the temple and in our events. We also talked about cliques or in-groups or other subgroups, that those that aren't created by the temple, so in other words, separate from like the marketing committee, you know, those groups that are not created by the temple should not be formed because we don't want there to be, you know, little special sections of people who consider themselves to be better or different than other people. And then, of course, no events can be held without prior approval that are temple events. So that way, we're not having secret events that are held just for a few people, that aren't for everybody, or at least for, you know, the members that are supposed to be there. And then after that, we have a respect section on our codes of conduct. So that would be the second section. We wanted to kind of go further than just be inclusive, and also let people know that this is a welcoming environment for everybody, regardless of their, you know, status. So I just put respect must be given at all times to other temple members and clergy. Discrimination based on gender, orientation, race, ethnicity, national origin, age, disability, income, family status, political affiliation, or other protected status shall not be allowed under any circumstances. I know that sounds like a lot to say, but I just wanted to make sure that it was clear. Unwanted attention, sexual harassment, bullying, teasing, or other belligerent behavior shall not be tolerated. Members must not engage in derogatory rhetoric towards other pagan-centered group or earth-centered groups at temple events, or acting as a representative of the temple. We wanted to also make sure that our group is a positive, uplifting group, and that we're not going to get into witch wars or banter with other groups, even if they direct that towards us. We're not going to sink to that level. And that members who have experienced problems with other members at any level should approach an elder or high priest to mediate the matter. And this is kind of one of the roles of an elder or high priest, is that we're there to mentor people who are members of our group. And if there's a problem that you have with another member, then you can talk to somebody about it and feel safe about approaching somebody about a problem that you might have with somebody, and then we can go from there. You know, it might just be a conflict of different ideas, but that way there's a way to handle it in a non-violent manner. The next section on our codes of conduct is piety. Members should, and I've just got a couple things under here. Members should refrain from disrespecting the gods and goddesses, both with words and actions, and that members are expected to treat sacred space and objects with great reverence. That's about it. We just wanted to make sure that we weren't having people kind of do the opposite of what our temple goal is. Our temple goal, obviously, is to uplift people and create a closer relationship with deities. So when people are disparaging or disrespecting the gods, that goes directly against what our group stands for. The next thing that I've got is privacy, and this is the last thing that I have under our codes of conduct. And that is that member lists are confidential and shall not be disclosed unless compelled by law. So unless we get a subpoena, we're not going to give anybody your information. That's something that you can expect from us. No member shall disclose private information about the group or its members, and that pictures of temple events may be posted on our website. It is the responsibility of anyone who attends temple events to make organizers aware that they do not want to be filmed or photographed. And the reason we said that is because there are still people within our group and within the pagan community who are not out of the broom closet for one reason or another. Maybe they're afraid they might lose their job. Maybe they're still living in a home that's not very tolerant to paganism. But whatever it may be, if they don't want to be photographed, they just need to let us know, and we'll respect their privacy. So that basically is our codes of conduct. It's not very hard to understand. It's just something so that everybody knows what they can expect of each other and their behavior. So the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about money matters and fundraising, marketing, and things like that. So that is getting into some more kind of really educational stuff that those people who want to create their groups may want to know. So once again, get your pens and papers ready.